All right. Good evening, everyone. The purpose of tonight's session is tonight is our second Cognos analytics session, and the purpose of tonight is to help you get started with dashboards and the stories. And we're also going to talk about what you're going to do for your group assignment. Okay. Now let's move on. As you may remember, last time we were looking at the claims and weather data. This is how it looks like. The data has customer information, including customer ID, country where the customer is from. So you have the state, right? And you have the customer car claim. So that's a claim amount, and it's a coverage, customer coverage, and claim type, and etc. And we use this information to predict the total car claim amount. Okay. Now, next things that we're gonna do is we're gonna review. This is nothing but a review. What we talked about last time is that we define the filter to remove the rows, to filter out the rows that don't have the effective due date. Okay. Now, we also created the selectable filter that allows us to use only at the personal policy type for small vehicles. All right. So this is where it is. It's an expression, and we looked at it last time. I'm just doing the summary. Then some of the columns have missing values, missing income, right? Income, for example, has a missing value. So what we did was that if income is missing, we're going to set it to the column average. All right. Now in here, it's doing the same for the missing for the monthly premium outer column. Then we also have the claim reason column. It has some missing values, so we just replace the missing value with the text other. So other basically it means the value is missing. Okay. And I believe, yes, I created the video, and in that video I discussed that, right? Okay. You have tried to use an average before. Oh, the syntax gave an error. Yes, we would need to look at syntax. So if the syntax give you an error, then you would need to submit the Salesforce ticket. The TA will be more than happy to assist you with. But also you need to make sure that, like scissors for the quotes, other quote, you want to make sure that there's no Microsoft Word quote. The quote has to be just the text editor quote, okay? Now I'm gonna look at the next one here. What we also did, we defined the groups. Like for example, a number of policies, right? I created another column that would just do the data group. And you can do data group on numeric column, right? And you can do data group also on a categorical column. So there are two videos where I showed you how to create a data group, right? Now, this is going to lead us into another topic now. What else we did last time? We did something called data exploration. So here, the session timeout, not a problem. I'm going to log back in, not a big issue. So I'm going to launch Cognos Analytics, and I'm going to go, instead of going to my actual admin account, right? I'm going to go into my demo account. So if you guys recall, last time we looked at the exploration. So idea behind the exploration is to get just insight about the data. But this is not something that you're going to present to your manager, if you will, right? So let me see, I'm gonna do it. Okay, oops. Right, so this is a demo account. Okay, so I'm gonna sign in and let me show you. So last time, what we did was we looked at this. It's under my content, and we did the data exploration. So it's here, right? We looked at this data exploration. Oh, okay, no problem. So see, okay. Well, basically, we looked at the data exploration, and data exploration. Basically, there is no way to see the relationships between the sets of cards. Data exploration is nothing but the set of cards. There is no way to see the connection between those cards, if you will, right? So you see this, like, for example, I cannot select one data point and make the same data point to be selected in my other cards, right? There is no way to create something like something that we can interact. And there is no way to, so to speak, well, we cannot just do anything like filter several visualizations at once, right? Unless we define that filter in data module. All right. So what it leads to? It leads to something that called dashboard. So let's look about what is a dashboard. We create dashboards to present our insights about the data. It has some visualizations and has some attractive layout. You can add text, you can add different types of widgets. Now, you can control how the visualizations appear, right? Including the colors. Notice that when we did the data exploration, there is no color. I mean, they're in blue color. You cannot change the color. You cannot change the visualization properties, right? But in a dashboard, you can. Then you may use the visualizations from the data exploration workbook into your dashboards and into your stories. Okay. Now, this is similar. Some similarities are that you may still define the calculations in the dashboard. You may still define the hierarchies, which is called the navigation path. You may also use the embedded assistant. You may do the calculations. But one thing that I want you to keep in mind is this: anything that you define in the dashboard will not be available in another dashboard that uses the same data source. If you want to create a calculation that is available in all dashboards that use the same data source, you would need to define this calculation where? In the data module. Okay. Now, dashboards, unlike data exploration, dashboards have two modes: edit mode and view mode. When you're in the edit mode, you may edit the contents, right, of the dashboard. If you're in a view mode, it's just a preview. You're interacting as your manager would interact with your dashboard, all right? Now, so it's a combination of visualization with interactive layout. I must select one data point, and the same data point will be selected in a set of related visualizations, if you will. So now, what we're gonna do? How do we create a dashboard? Let's take a look here. Okay. I'm gonna go to my content. Well, and this is my claims and weather data module, right? So what I'll do here, there is more than one way to do that. One way is do this, create dashboard. So when I do that, the data module that I used, right, this is going to be my data source. Let's take a look at what we have in here. There are two types of dashboard. The first one is a tab dashboard, and the second one is an infographic. Infographic is just one single long page with a bunch of visualizations. Dashboard that we're gonna look at, we're gonna use tab board in this class. So basically the tab dashboard, as the name suggests, the visualizations are split into several tabs, and each tab could focus on a certain subtopic, if you will, all right? So now what else I did for you here? Okay, cool. Now I summarized it for you, the differences between tab dashboards and infographics. The reason we also use the tab dashboard here, because we can save it as a story, okay? The tab dashboard can be exported as a story, but both of them are interactive and both of them can use a predefined template. So in this slide, I'm showing you, there are some out of the box template and a free form template. Well, you might customize them, but one thing to remember is that when you use the predefined templates, they're going to scale based on your screen resolution. Like, for example, sometimes you may want to do the demonstration and you show on a larger monitor, they will resize. The free form does not, all right? Now, this is called something like an absolute positioning, where the area is divided into sections. So my favorite one, I'm gonna admit, it's 2x2. Well, because see, these guys are good, but the more you put on a page, the longer it could take to load. Now, Another thing is that if I select this template for the first tab, it does not mean that I have to stick with the same template. I can choose different template for another tab. But let's go ahead and click OK. Well, so now we selected what happened. Let's take a look at it. What happened? Well, here is the canvas area. This is just an empty dashboard for right now, right? And it has 4 slots, 1 tab, 4 slots. What is here on the left-hand side? This is our data, right? So let's take a look. Those are the columns in our data module, right? The column, this little icon next to the column name represents the column type, right? So if it's a measure or if it's just a location, right? What you also see is you see the data group columns because we defined those group columns where we defined those group columns way back in the data module. Anything that you defined in the data module will be available everywhere where you use the data module as a source. What is this? This is our selectable filter that allows us to focus on a personal policy type is a small vehicle, right? You see that here. And also, do you remember we talked about the calculations? This is a standalone calculation. Average total claim amount. We created the standalone calculations that created as a single value. It's not added as a column to the data, right? So, and you find the information on standalone calculations in the last session. And also there is one of the videos where I go over the filters. All right, so that's this. Next thing, well, you did not have these guys here in your exploration workbook. There was no way to undo, right? So here you've got undo, redo, and I believe it's up to maybe like 20 changes, something like that. Well, okay, now little housekeeping. This is how you close this to maximize the area. Here is the filters area. It can also be opened and closed, right? Now you've got the properties, but the properties could be defined. The properties that you get depends on the properties of what you define, the properties of visualizations or the properties of the specific list layout. Like for instance, let me click, I'm gonna add another tab in here. So this is the second tab, right? And what I could do is I could go, so here is, this is my properties, right? And here, this is just like I can do like layout positioning. I can change if I wanted to. Well, and this is the properties for the tabs. I can specify, for example, for the tab, I can change the color of my title. I can say I want red. This is a change to red. Now in here, I could also do a selection indicator. And for example, I want all my selected tab to be colored in green, right? So this is the properties here. Now you can also play around with others like colors, color consistency, and etc. I'm going to let you play around with this, but I'm just showing you that the properties that we just looked at, they are defined at the tab level, right? As they're defined for the whole area, right? They're defined for the tabs. I just showed you how to change the color of the tab. A very important here, if you see this little asterisk, it means that the last change that you made to your dashboard was not saved, okay? So now what we need to do is we have to save it. And I'm gonna do this as this right here. See this, I'm gonna do save as, and of course, you must save anything to your content folder. And I'm just gonna save it as, let's say, insurance dashboard, right? I'm saving it as an insurance dashboard and I'm gonna hit save. Everything that you save for your assignment 4 is going to be in your content. And I forgot to mention your assignment 4 is a continuation of 3. What you will do is you will take anything that you did in assignment 3 and you will build on it, right? You will need to basically, well, Basically what you're going to do, you're going to just add to it, right? You're going to create a nice dashboard. Remember, for your last assignment, you created decision tree. So you're going to bring them in here. And you also going to add more visualizations, right? So let's go back. We discussed about this. Well, here I'm just talking about these are different elements. And when you add visualizations in here, you're going to see the data that is being visualized, right? Same thing. Close this. Now, and you have also the pencil. I will be using it more later on. The pencil lets you go back and forth between edit mode and the preview mode, right? So now I'm in the preview mode. Well, like this, I'm in an edit mode, right? uh, Here, this is the pin functionality, and I'll show you how to use that. So basically, if you have a visualization that you use frequently, you can add it to the pins. Pins is a bookmark, right? This is embedded assistant functionality, the same functionalities that you saw in the last presentation and also in one of the videos. Here, you can add visualizations from scratch if you want, okay? And there are different widgets, right? And what I did was I prepared a video that shows you how to add text and shows you how to add different widgets, okay? So there is a separate video on that. Now, let's take a look at how we can add visualizations here, right? Let's take a look at that. So let's see where we are now. We talked about this, and I talked to you about the properties, right? And you can also change the default language and etc. Right? Okay, now to add the visualization, one obvious way would be probably to go to here. This is visualizations, and perhaps I want my pie chart. I edit, and here I need to specify what I want to visualize. Remember, these are called data slots. And if you see this little asterisk, it means the data slot is required. If you don't have anything in here, right? If you don't have anything in here, it means that you cannot see the visualization. So what we want to see here, well, perhaps I want to see the, let's see, I want to see the state as a segment, and the slice of my pie chart, I want to be the number of people in that state, perhaps. So what I need to do is here, I can take the customer ID, and it will count the customer ID. Each slide here represents a number of customers at the moment. I'm gonna minimize this, okay? So this takes the first slot in here. What you could do now, you could change the properties of this pie chart. How do we change the properties of this pie chart? You're gonna click on properties. So right now, see that the pie chart is selected. So when I click on properties, it's gonna let me change the properties of the pie chart. There are different properties. I can change the color scheme. I can change how my legend looks like, or I can go to the chart in here and I can do this. I want to see percentages, right? I can do that. Like, for instance, I don't want to see how many people, I want to see the percentage of people, all right? Next thing, what I could do, I can decide if I want to show a label, shadow, and etc. But here, I'm just gonna do this. This makes it look like a donut. I made my chart look like a donut, all right? Well, so the properties that you see available depend on the visualizations that you use. And remember this is called the focus mode. I'm taking visualization in a focus mode when I want to explicitly focus on that visualization and edit it, right? Another thing that I could do is I could go to my assistant here, right? This is the assistant, and I can do something like this. I type data, just an example, and see this thing here. This is claims and weather data module. Remember, we talked about assistant before, right? So perhaps I want to look at any like total claim amount, right? Well, this is my total claim amount, and I want to look at it perhaps by marital status, right? So this is gonna give me the visualization. And well, this is average claim amount by marital status. I can just go in and drag and drop in here. So this is another way to add visualization, right? Another way, so let me go ahead and save this first. And you can go to data exploration, but I believe I may have done something and I may have broke the data exploration. See, this is what's going to happen if you accidentally delete the data that you use to build visualization. You're going to see this, okay? So let's do this now. We're going to go in here quickly, and I'm going to go to my content, and I'm going to create brand new. I'm going to quickly create brand new exploration. So this is cars data module. I'm going to go quickly create an exploration just for the purpose, because I want to show you how you can reuse your decision tree that you created. You created decision tree and you want to reuse it for your visualization, right? So now what I'll do, oops, let me close this one for a second. Close. Okay, let's close this. Close without saving. Now let's go back to the welcome page. Okay, now I'm gonna go to my content and I need to be using this one, claims and weather data module. I'm gonna do quickly create data exploration, right? And my my target variable is total claim amount, right? So what I did in here, this as a visualization, let's quickly do this. Create a new card, right? So this is a new card and I'm gonna choose type. And the type was, what was that? Decision tree, right? You created the decision tree last time. And the decision tree was for what? For the total claim amount, right? So this is gonna be your total claim amount is a target. Okay, so this is your decision tree. Now, see this, you have the data exploration workbook with decision tree, and you want to reuse the decision tree in your data visual in your dashboard. So what you can do is you select this decision tree. This is something called pin. Pin is a bookmark, in other words, right? If you want to use the visualization very often, you can bookmark it. Another thing is that, well, I have a video detailed on pins. You may pin your visualization in data in a dashboard and reuse it in data exploration, but you need to keep in mind that you might lose some properties because in here, right? In here, in the data exploration, you don't have a color property, right? Well, okay, so it says it's processing pin, and if I go in here, I should be able, this is a pin here, okay? This is a pin that I just created. I'm gonna go ahead. Well, first of all, I have to save it. I did not save it. Let's see, save as, and I'm gonna save it as insurance exploration, right? And always I have to do my content, right, for right now. Okay, so that's gonna be safe. Well, I quickly showed you how to reuse your visualization. Now I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna go back to my dashboard, right? Not sure why it's okay. Now, I want to add my visualization from pins, right? But now take a look at what's gonna happen. It won't be, right now, you're gonna say, hey, why I can't add it? Oh wait, you can. You can add. Okay, now, if for some unknown reason you are unable to add a pin, you need to make sure that your dashboard is in edit mode, okay? Now, here is my what decision tree, right? I added the decision tree. I could also do this. I could remove it. Suppose that I added something and I'm not happy with it being on this tab. I'm not happy with this being on the top. So what you do is you can select this guy here, right? Well, this is a focus mode, but you can just select this like this and see this, you've got different options. You can also add it to the bookmark or you can delete this, right? Now I'm gonna go to my second tab and I'm gonna re-add this. So see this? This is a pin. I can just drag and drop, right? Because this is pinned. Whatever I pin, all my pins, I should be able to see them here, as well as when I go back to my back to my data exploration, and we're also going to be looking at the stories later tonight. Okay. Now let's go back to the first tab. What else you can do is, well, I showed you how to add visualization from scratch. I showed you how to add visualizations just as a pin, right? And you could also just drag and drop, right? You can also drag and drop the data column in here. So over here, see this? So it's here, right? I can just go expand my column list, and I can go in here to the state, drag and drop the state, it's gonna show them up, right? When I drag and drop the state here, it's gonna show them up. And what I could do is I could expand and I could modify the visualization. Okay, I can always modify the visualization here. Suppose the color, I can do the total claim amount, right? Total claim amount, average total claim amount is gonna be the location color. Well, see this? Location color is the average claim amount. See? Okay, now let's minimize that. And I'm going to add something else in here because, well, see that? So you have states here, you have states here. Okay, now, well, because I wanted to demonstrate that visualizations are connected, right? So to do that, I want to have state, and let's see if I can do something, I can quickly do something else with the state or something like that. So I can go in here, visualizations, and you can do something like, well, let's do another pie chart. Let's copy this because I wanted to demonstrate something. So this is our pie chart. I can do this. I can do copy. Oops. This is how you duplicate. You select this here, and you have this one. See this is a duplicate, right? So I'm gonna move it here. I'm gonna move it here, right? And I also want to duplicate it on another tab. I'll show you why. So what I did was I copied it to the clipboard, and I'm just gonna do paste. Okay, copy paste. I put it here for a reason, and I'll show you why. Because I'm gonna be talking about the filter shortly, but let's save this for right now. Let's go back to the first tab. The first thing I'm gonna show you that all visualizations that come from the same data source are connected. So how do we do that? Look here. This is what's gonna happen. Suppose that I select Nebraska in here. All my visualizations on this tab will be adjusted to show only Nebraska. It's gonna show only the state that I have selected, right? You see that? Only the states that I have selected. Or for example, I can go ahead and select another state. This is Iowa, and all visualizations are adjusted to show just the Iowa. Because my visualizations are what? They are connected, right? Now I can break this connection. Take a look at this. Here, it's over here. See this view widget connection? Right now, all widgets are connection in the same group, but I can break it. For example, this guy right here, I can say break this link, right? It's gonna be create new connection. So this one I just broke this, or I could break four of them, all of them. Now what's gonna happen? Take a look at this. Well, first I have to unclick this. Take a look at this. I'm gonna go back here. See this? I selected Iowa. I could select Missouri perhaps in the here, right? But Missouri is not selected here because I broke the connection. Or if I go in here, select Oklahoma, it has no impact on my connection here because I did not, I broke it, right? Sometimes you wanted to look at comparison perhaps, right? So you want to select at the bottom one state and at the top another. So that's one reason why you would do that. But anyhow, you saw this. Now what we can do is we can return this. I'll show you we can return this. Okay, so see this? I see the widget connection again. I click on this, and here I can say add to existing connection, and I'm gonna return it back to the same group. What happens now? All visualizations are backlinked as before, right? Now let's unfilter it. I can unfilter it here. Next thing I'm gonna show you is how to do the filters. Well, it's different filter. It's not the data module filters that we looked at. It's a visualization filter. So let's take a look in here. Here, so see here are the columns, right? What I need to do, well, first of all, there are two types of filters here. There's a filter that's gonna be applicable to all tabs, and there is a filter that could be applicable that you can apply only to the single tab, right? So let's do state because our visualizations show state. So it might be easier to show you that the filter in fact working as expected, or let's do state code perhaps. Okay, now I want to filter all tabs by the state code. Look at what I'm doing. I drag and drop the column to the all tabs section, and I'm going to select just two states, right? I want to see Iowa and I want to see the Kansas, just two states, and I'm gonna click on OK. Well, take a look at it. All visualizations on this tab are adjusted to see only the state that I selected. I'm going to the second tab and I see the same adjustments were made here. The same adjustments were made here because I applied the filter to all tabs, right? Now I'm gonna change my mind. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete filter and I'm gonna apply the filter only to this tab. So I'm gonna drag and drop the state code in here. And what I want to do, let's say I'm gonna select Iowa, right, and Oklahoma. I selected two and I'm gonna select OK. Do you see that? These visualizations, all visualizations on the first tab are filtered. But when I go back to the second tab, it's not. I still see all of my states. Why? It's because I defined the filter only at the tab level. See this here? I don't see any filters. And when I go to my first tab, I see that it filtered. Okay? Makes sense? Now I'm gonna just go ahead and remove the filter. I deleted it, right? So let's go back to the slides. All right, so here I showed you multiple ways to create visualizations. I showed you that you can use pins, right? It's possible to use data from more than one data module, just keep that in mind. But for your assignment, just do one. Well, here I just showed you can use visualization library to add new visualization. This is just different properties. So visualization is in a focus mode when you click on it, and you may change the properties, right? And another thing is this. When I select this visualization, right, you should be able to click here and see what data is being visualized. So here, this is just showing me number of customers in each state, and the plot is showing me the percentage of customer in each state. So basically here, it's just showing you the number of customers that are being, it's showing me the data that is being visualized, okay? Now, next thing is, let me, oops, it's because I unselected the visualization. That's why I'm seeing all data now. So let's minimize that. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. Well, here I'm just explaining the visualization properties that I showed you. And you can also add the title. So if I'm going to here, this is my visualization, right? And when I click on the properties here, I can say, okay, let's add the title. It's going to be under general, and it's going to be, I believe it's under the here. Okay, let me check. Sorry guys for cheating a little bit. We're gonna do it's under the general, and you can do the you have to turn on the show title. Okay, show title. Okay, and now I can just say the percentage customer by state, right? Okay, well, I turned on the title and I can change the color of my title. I can do it in two locations. I can do here, or I can do in this little bar, okay? So over here, this is a text size. I can bold it. I can change my color if I want to, well, and etc. I'll let you explore it, but I'm just showing you what can be done. And now again, see this little star, it means that the last changes were not saved. I need to go ahead and save it. Now, let's go back to my slides, right? We talked about this. Now, well, this is how to add the widgets. I'm gonna show you a little bit. And also, I have a video, the details, the widgets. So in here, this is a widget. Widget means the text, and it means it's also the shapes and also the images. One thing that I need to make sure everybody is aware that you cannot copy an image directly. You have to specify the image URL, right? The image URL ends with PNG or with GPG, right? So now here I can add the text box. I just put this and I'm just gonna say, I love data 610. I love data 610. Well, and this also has its own properties. I can change the properties here. See this little toolbar? Or I can also click here to change my properties. Here, of course, I've got more, right? I've got the legend, I got the appearance, and more, okay? I can change the fill color, I can change the border color, well, etc. Okay, I hope it makes sense. And I can also do this. I can drag and drop these little shapes here. All right. So we did that. Let's go back to our presentation here. All right. Well, and to add an image, you can just, you need to add the image URL, right? To add the image, you need to do, well, let's just do an example. Suppose that I want to add a picture of the dog. I do Google search and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do search for the images. And then, so this is the dog, right? I click here and you need to get the image URL. So sometimes it's a little bit tricky. Well, let's try this copy image address. Let's see if that does it. Because, well, the URL is supposed to end with PNG or GPG, something like that. So let's add another tab. Let's quickly do that. Okay. So now let's see here. I want to add the image, so I'm gonna drag and drop. And, ooh, I did the wrong thing. I have to select this. Okay, here we go. And I'm gonna paste the image URL. Let's see if it did it. Nope. Let's do Control A. Let's see. I have to paste the image URL. Uh-oh. Well, no, this is a site where image is located. This is a site where image is located. You need to put the actual GPG URL of an image. So let's see, let's try this. This is a site. So now I have to go in here. Let's try this. Copy image address. Yeah, you have to copy image address. See this? Let's try that again. Okay, well, if this does not work, if this probably does not work, what I do is I have an example for you. I have an example for you where it is working, okay? I have an example in a few where it is working. You need to find an image basically, and then you need to get the image URL. So like, for example, let's see if I can do this. Open image. Copy link address. No, that's not it. Open image in a new tab. There we go. So now I should be able to get this URL. Open image in a new tab. Oops. Nope. It's still doing this. See this? It's still doing this. I'll have to, oh, there we go. Take a look at this. What I have to do is just take this part right here. See this? I have to take this part right here that ends with a JPG. Now I'm gonna go in here and paste it. It should work now. Come on. Did not copy. Yes, it did. Okay, see this? It worked right now. I've got my image working right now. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I showed you how to do the image, right? In order to get the image, you just have to take the link. The link needs to end with a JPG. I took that part of the URL that ends with a JPG. Okay, now let's take a look at again what else we have left in here. So this is an image. You can't copy paste image. You have to specify URL. I showed you that visualizations are linked. Now, this is going to bring us to the next topic here soon. What I did for you, so let's close this first. What I did for you, I prepared another dashboard that looks really nice. So let's go back to the my content and let's, oops, my content. Let's hope it's not, okay. It's not, it's a insurance dashboard. Let's try that. Or it's, okay, it's here, car insurance dashboard. Sorry, guys. Well, what I did was here, I prepared this for you with 5 tabs. Now, you might be thinking here, why I cannot edit anything? That's because I'm in a view mode. To switch to the edit mode, I would have to click on this pencil, all right? So, and if you take a look at this, this is my image, right? If I look at the properties of my image, this is the properties, here is the URL. See this? It ends with .png or ends with .jpg, that's a URL, okay? Now, I have 5 tabs, right? And I purposely added the numbers here, 5 tabs here, right? But pay attention here, there is no transition between tabs, right? I cannot play it, I cannot say, hey, I want to watch this tab for 1 minute, go to the second tab in a minute. I want to control where things on the tab appear, disappear, and I want to control the animations between the tabs. Is it possible here? No, it's not possible, right? So that takes us to another concept, which is called a story. We're going to create a story. But for your assignment 4, what you're going to do is you're going to do the dashboard first. Then at the time when your dashboard is ready, make sure that it's ready before you take the next step. And the next step would be to save, to convert this dashboard into the story. Every tab in your dashboard will become a scene in a story. So, but you want to make sure that it's done first, because any changes that you make here after you save it as a story won't be reflected in this. Any change you make here won't be reflected in the story. So take a look. This is a little shortcut. You go in here and you're gonna say save as a story. Then you're gonna do this. Well, for right now, let's do the slideshow. But before we do that, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this slide in here. Well, what's the story? In this case, the slideshow is going to be similar to the PowerPoint presentation. It's numerous visualization. It's an overtime narrative, in other words. So you are presenting insights, and you may configure when things appear, disappear. You may add images and shapes, and you may also apply filters. You may create calculations, but the calculations that you create in the story will be available only for that story. They won't be available anywhere else where you use the same data set as a source, okay? If you want this to be available everywhere, you have to create a calculation in a data module, right? And you have this is called the transition style. We're gonna work with a slideshow first, right? So this just shows you transition style, an explanation between differences. So basically, when you have the slideshow, each scene appears on a different canvas. And the guided journey, the scenes will appear on the same canvas, but everything else is the same. You can configure the timer, you can configure the transitions, and you may also create them from the dashboard or from scratch, right? So at the moment we're creating them from the dashboard, and let's go ahead and actually do it. So I selected the template. Now what it's doing, it's asking me where I want to save it, and I want to save it to my content. And this one, it says, this is a name. By default, it's gonna take the dashboard name and it's gonna prefix it with a story, and I'm gonna save. Okay, I'm gonna do save. I saved it. Now let's take a look what happened. My story has 5 scenes. Every scene it is it is a tab in a dashboard, right? Every scene here is a tab in a dashboard, is a tab in the dashboard. So from now on, any changes I make to my dashboard will not be reflected here because I just saved it. Okay, I just exported it. So I have only 5 scenes, but what if you need more? No problem. This plus, you click on a plus to add a new scene. And similar, you've got the when you add a new scene, similar, you can select the layout, right? So in here, oh, this is a rename. This is a rename, right? Oh, okay. So you can do the rename, or you can also select the different layout when you create a scene. Like for example, here, suppose that I want to add a new scene. I'm going to do it again. See this? I can create the layout. For example, I want to do 2 by 2, right? Etc. Okay. So now, suppose that I did something that I did not want to do. This is how you would undo. This is how you would undo. You would click this. So, okay. Okay. I just undid the change, and I'm gonna go ahead and save that again. And notice that here you got the filters. You can filter one scene or you can filter everything, right? Well, so this is no difference. Everything is the same that you've seen before, right? Now what we're gonna look at, this the scene timelines. So see here, I have 4 visualizations on this one, and I can control when each visualization appears. So let's do this. I'm gonna click here, open timeline. You see that I have 4 visualizations, and by default, each scene when you play it, by default it's gonna show for 5 seconds. This little bar shows when the element starts and when the element appears and when the element disappears. So if I take this here and I drag this, see this? It means here my first visualization, it's gonna appear after 2 seconds. When I preview it, the first visualization will appear after 2 seconds. Then second visualization will disappear after 3 seconds. This is what I'm doing. I drag and drop these edges. Then I want my scene to be longer than 5 seconds. I can drag this here. See, I can drag this. It means that I want to show this visualization, right, a little bit longer than 5 seconds. And I'm gonna play it in a few to show you what's happening. Let's close this filter area so that you can see more, right? So here, let's look at it like this. So now let's close this actual timeline. And what I want to do is I want to play this thing. So now watch. This one, you don't see the first one, right? Watch what's gonna happen. 1, 2, see that appeared, this disappeared, and going more past 5 seconds. Do you see that? You see, I can control when things appear and when things disappear, right? So let's come back here. That's what basically is mainly. Well, in here, it's just showing you that you can add a new scene, basically what I did, what I showed you, right? You can do that. And you can add visualizations similar way, just from widgets, or you can use the assistant, or you can do from the pins, or you can do from scratch. Okay. Now, well, this one is just explanation of the theme timeline, what I just showed you. It shows when things appear, disappear. Now here, I just showed you, I should have moved this slide before, because this slide just shows you how to export your dashboard as a story. Okay, we just did that. Every tab in the dashboard becomes a story. That's the purpose of this picture here. See this? I've got 2, right? I've got two tabs and it's going to be two scenes. And of course, you can always rename your scene, right? So see this, you can always change name if you want to, right? See here, it opens up the timeline, right? If you click on here, this is just the properties. Well, see here, this is the rename. This is a duplicate, okay? Okay, so this is a second one. Yeah, that's a duplicate. Okay, I hope it makes sense. And another thing is that, look, I can also select this and I can see which data is being visualized. I can see the data that is being visualized. Okay, now let's do more. Let's see, going back here, we did this. Now, well, that's gonna be the next topic. But before we do that, I wanted to show you that, well, let's save that first. I'm gonna go back to the welcome page. I'm gonna go back to the welcome page. And what you could also do is, this is how you would create a new story from scratch. You would just go here, click on new, and you're gonna select the story type that you want. And I have to show you the guided journey. For some reason, it's, well, see this, I can select the guided journey perhaps. I'm gonna click on create. And what I can do is here, well, first of all, I cannot create anything because I did not select the data source. So I have to do here, and I have to select the data source that I want to use. And of course, I want to use this cars data module, not cars, claims and weather data module. Okay. Well, this is claims and weather data modules that I want to use. Okay, makes sense? Now, and here are the different this is a, well, I just showed you how to do it from scratch. Let's go ahead and close this. And without saving, close without saving. Let's go back to, so this is the story that we were looking at, right? So if I go back to the properties, I can change my properties. Instead of slideshow, I can see the guided journey. Well, and I can choose the different layout, right? I select this layout. With this layout, you can, on the first slide, on the first scene, well, this is scene 0. It's going to show you all scenes that you have, right? And this is what you're going to do for the, to turn in. To turn in, you're going to do, let's minimize this. You're going to take this and submit the screenshot of this. When you, in order to show the instructors that you in fact did the story, you're going to take a screenshot of this and add this to your paper, right? So this is how to show that you've got 5 scenes, right? 1 through 5. Okay. Now next thing is, well, let's look at the properties. You selected guided journey and you can select the layout, and I believe that was it in here, right? Guided journey. Okay. Now, if you want to play it, preview it, you have to go to the, you have to exit the view mode, right? And you have to save it. And you have to exit the edit mode rather. And now I'm gonna just try to play. Let's play. So see this showing now the first scene. Now pay attention what's gonna happen in the second scene. Oops. I did not specify that I want to play all of them, but that's okay. Well, see this now it's playing this one. See what it's doing with the plots, right? And the next thing, what I had to do was I had to specify that I want to, when I'm playing this, I had to select the play all scenes. This is what was missing, okay? Now, let me go back to properties. And I can also, if I want to, I can change back. Oh, come on. See this? Oh, I see why. Do you know why I can get to properties? It's because I'm in a view mode. I need to be in edit mode to see the properties. Let's minimize that, right? Once in a while, we have to be, you know, okay. So I'm gonna go the slideshow again. And in here, you have this, you have a transition. Why you have transition in here? Because you're using the same canvas. And I can do perhaps, animated path transition. Let's see what that would do. When I go here, when I do, let's see, play, right? Oops. I should have closed this to show you. So I should have closed all of this. Okay, so let's see. If I hit on play, first thing that it's gonna do, oh, play. So see this, it's playing now the first scene. Now the transition specifies what's gonna happen when it goes to the next scene, right? Well, I did not specify to play all. Oh, okay. I was still in the edit mode, right? So now I'm in the view mode. Let's go back to the scene for the first one. See, now it's playing it. Well, this is the first scene, but then it's supposed to do the transition that I specified. Okay, so just know that you can change how the transition happens. Okay, now let's go back. Well, this is about the stories. Next topic on the agenda is the group work. Your assignment 5, for your assignment 5, you're going to be working in the groups. So that means that at some point at the end of week 9, instructor, your professor will put you in a group. And once the groups are defined in the classroom, I'm going to create the same groups in Cognos Analytics. And your team is going to have a designated folder where you're going to be saving the work for the project. So what I recommend is this. You're gonna have 5 data sets to choose from. If I go to team content and you see this is data for assignments, here, this is assignment 5. You've got 5 options. So what I recommend you guys do is, first of all, you need to select the team leader. Then you're going to look at the data and you decide which data you want to use, right? The team leader would need to take the data and make a copy to your designated team folder. Well, let me show you how to access your designated team folder. So here, this is a team content. Once you add it to the group, you're gonna see this assignment 5 group work. You're gonna click on that folder, okay? Now, let's make a little assumption. Let's assume that right now I'm taking your instructor class and he put me in team 1. Let's just assume that I'm a student, right? And Professor Wahi put me in a team in the team 1. So what I'll need to do, first I go to assignment 5 group work, then I'm gonna see the folder for the current semester, which is spring 2022. Now I'm gonna see the subfolder for my team. Very important, please make sure that you do not see the subfolder for another team that you're not a member of. If you're a member of one, you should not see the folder for team 2, okay? And if you see the folder for team 2, don't see your folder, you also need to raise the ticket, right? Because something went wrong. Elena may have done something wrong in configuration and Elena will fix it. That's a no-brainer. It's very easy to fix. But you have to, as soon as the teams are set, as soon as you are assigned to the teams, you need to check to make sure that you have access to your folder, okay? Well, and here are going to be all files that you save as a team. So, and here, see this shows you location where you're currently looking at. So we go back here. I'm going to pretend that I'm not only the member of the team 1, I'm also the team leader. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the data for assignment 5. I'm going to click on assignment 5. This is a data. Suppose that my team wants to work on cars data. Okay, what I'll need to do is I have to click here and I have to do select copy or remove, but you're gonna copy it because you cannot remove anything from this folder, okay? But copy it where? Look, you're gonna copy it to the team content, but you have to navigate to your folder, to your team folder. Right now, it shows you that you're currently in assignment 5 data folder. So what you have to do is you have to go to the team content back. Then you're going to go to assignment 5, group work. You're going to go to enrollment semester, and this is your team, right? And you're going to select copy to. Remember, if you select move to, you're going to receive an error because you cannot moving files means deleting the files from original place, and you don't have the modified privilege for the that folder. Now I'm going to go copy to. Okay. Now, how do I verify that the file was in fact copied? I have to go to the folder. I have to go to my team folder. Well, this is a sprint session 1, and this is a cars folder. Next thing that the leader would do is this. You're going to create the data module, right? You're going to create the data module, and you're going to be saving this data module in your team folder. So if I go here, now I'm going to attempt to save it. It has to be in the team folder, assignment 5, group work, your enrollment semester, your team, and I'm going to say this, save it as cars data module. Then you're going to use that data module. You're going to apply filters to that data module that is in your team folder. And you're also going to save the files into the team folder for that assignment, okay? Well, let's see. Take a look at this. So now let's close this. Oh, that's very important, very important. Make sure that you close everything before you exit. You want to close everything that belongs to your group, because if you still have the file open, even if you're not working on it, you still have it open. You want to close it. Another important thing is that make sure that you don't delete the data and you don't delete the data module. Otherwise, all explorations that you build from that data or from the data module would become broken. And there is no way to fix it. Even if you have another copy of the data module with the same name, you still cannot fix it because each data module has a unique identifier. Your visualizations are pointing to that specific identifier that no longer exists, okay? Well, now let me demonstrate that it actually works. So this was demo 3 user. Another demo user are in the same group. So take a look at this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to click here. I'm going to sign out from this, and I'm going to log in as another demo user. This is going to be called demo 2, right? That's a username. And I'm going to do this here. I'm going to go. It's another user, but that user belongs to the same team. So if I go to the team content, I see assignment 5 group work. I should also see sprint 2022. This is a session, and this is a data module that another team member just created, okay? Another team member just created this, right? I just showed you. Now what I could do is this. As this team member, I could do create exploration, right? And let's just create any exploration, anything, okay? So in this data set, the target is the car efficiency miles per gallon. So this is what you're predicting, right? And I can just put the drivers. I just put the drivers, right? And I'm gonna do the save. Let's see, let's do the save. And I'm gonna be saving where? In my team, right? This is my team folder. And let me say cars exploration, right? This is a cars exploration. Okay, well, let's save it as. Okay, so I'm a team member, another team member. I saved car exploration. I'm done working for the night. Perhaps I'm gonna close this file, right? So this is under the team content. This is a folder that you have currently open. See, those are the three files that I see. I just created a cars exploration. I'm done for the day, and I'm gonna log out, sign out. Now I'm going to be back as an initial user, right? I'm gonna be back as an initial user, right? Signing in, and I'm not expected to see the data exploration that the teammate created. This is a team content, assignment 5 group work, enrollment semester, your team. Well, do you see that there is an exploration? Okay, so this is basically how you would share files as a team. There is also a video that I created in a playlist to show you more details on how to share the files. Another thing is that if you look at it, so this is you, right? And this is, if you look at my preferences, there should be a way for you to see your membership. So see this here, I'll click on the personal, advanced, and here is the group and roles. You show view details. This here is going to show you the groups that you are a member of. Well, first of all authenticated user is anybody who is able to log in. This is the team that you're a member of, and everyone is basically everyone in data 610. So group everyone allows you to see these files. In the team content, you also see this one, the data sets and some of the samples, right, that were pre-installed. That's what everyone lets you see. All right. Now, another thing is here, I have to show you that there are some samples. If you're not sure how to do your dashboard, you can go in here, you can see the available samples. You won't be able to edit them unless you save a copy to your personal folder, to your content area. But here you can just see what your options. You're not going to be submitting that for grading, but well, that's something that if you're not sure what you can do with your data, it just gives you some of the ideas, okay? So let's go ahead and close this. I showed you the samples. Now let's go back to the slides. I showed you how to access your team stuff. I showed you how to save the files, right? Well, this example here shows the summer semester, but the same concept, okay? Okay, this is to save data to your team folder. We just went through that. Okay, you don't want to be this guy here. Oh no, well, this is a very sad story. One of the team members deleted something. It was the night when the assignment was due. Unfortunately, the guy deleted something, and that was it. You know, you cannot recover the files. You cannot recover the visualizations. Once you delete the data that was used as source to define data module invalid, all visualizations where you use the data module as a source become invalid, okay? So you want to be extra careful with this, okay? And well, this is a no access error. You will receive this error if you have something, you open something in your recents, the file located in your shared folder, but your teammate deleted the file. So this is going to be what you're going to see in your recents. That's an error. All right. This is just a bonus example, and I'm also going over this example in one of the videos. You can define the custom calculation. Another thing that I need to tell you is that you are asked to do the recording for the assignment 5. You're going to record a little presentation. So your team will have several people. One of you would need to create a free Zoom account. And what you'll do is free Zoom account still allows you to do the up to 40 minutes, but your presentation has to be 10 to 15 minutes. And when you create the Zoom account, you would have something like this. Well, this is a Zoom, right? In a Zoom account, you're gonna have the recordings. In a Zoom, when you create a Zoom account, you're gonna create a meeting with yourself, right, or with your team. Then what happens is that all meetings will be recorded. Once the recording is over, you're gonna go to your Zoom account, you're gonna go to the recording. And well, in my case, this is a recording of the meeting that I did for Data 650 on March 24th. You will do this. You're gonna click on the share, right? And in here, sharing information, you're gonna see this link. To see this, this is a meeting recording link, and you're gonna give the professor this recording link in assignment submission. This is how the teacher is gonna review your presentation. You're gonna use the Zoom, right? So you don't need to worry about YouTube, uploading the video to YouTube. You can just use the Zoom, and you can just take this link here and share it with instructor, okay? So you need to do the recording, and you're gonna record. Okay, let me click done. And you're gonna get this link, right? The presentation link, and you're gonna share that link with your professor when you submit this assignment. Assignment 5, okay? So you're gonna do Zoom, you're gonna set up a meeting with yourself, you're gonna attend the meeting, and you're gonna record the meeting to cloud, basically what I'm doing right now, and then you go to your Zoom account, and you're gonna get the video, okay? You're gonna get the link to the video that you're going to share with your professor, okay? Narcissus here, this was the other section, but for me, what I did was I like to save the video, so I uploaded them to YouTube, and I give your professor the YouTube link, right? But like, see, this is what we have now. At the moment, it's processing the recordings, right? I don't know why it says, oh, that's the time when, see, the start time here, it shows the time when I joined the session, but that's the time when I started the meeting, when I joined. But anyway, so whenever this meeting is over, sometimes you have to wait for half an hour or so, but the recording will be available, and you're gonna share it with your professor, but sometimes there is a little delay and you need to wait, okay? Now, let me see, let me turn over to you. Do you have any questions? Anyone who is attending here, Arthur, right? You have a privilege of asking me the questions directly. Arthur, do you have any questions? See, this is your opportunity now to ask questions directly. No questions? Okay. So if there are no questions, then I'm going to end this session, and I'm gonna wish you, and I'm gonna, okay. Oh, okay, no problem. So I'm gonna wish you good luck, okay? And another plus of attending the session is making sure, well, first of all, you set aside for the time, right? Yeah, you set aside the time for this. So you're watching this and you're familiar with this, and then you will be able to watch it more than once. But you kind of know what is discussed, and also some people kind of like wait some time to watch it, and they don't watch it on time, and etc. Okay? So I'm so glad it was helpful. So right now, I'm gonna end the recording and stop sharing. And when the recording is ready, I'm gonna email it to the professor. Sounds like a good deal, I hope. Okay, so I'm gonna end the recording. Stop the